Hello, this is Chaplain Matthew Bryant. Welcome to the Spiritual Readiness Refuel, brought to you by the 914th Air Refueling Chapel team, equipping you with tools and real stories of faith, inspiration, and resilience, helping you to hone the mind and live resilience. In today's episode, I'll be introducing you to the fourth of 9 Resiliency Refuels, a series breaking down Dr. Henry Cloud's book, 9 Things You Simply Must Do to Succeed in Love and Life. Today's principle, it encourages you to experience the freedom of taking ownership and responsibility. So let's dig in. First off, right off the bat, ownership and responsibility. Those are two words that often, especially when I think about the way many people think, they don't think about freedom when they think about ownership and responsibility. Many people think of ownership and responsibility, they think of something that's tying you down, something that's weighing you down. And really what this principle is looking at, though, is taking ownership and responsibility of the current situation. And the principle is simply this: do something. Do something. And you can't do anything until you take ownership and responsibility of what's going on. In the chapter, he talks about the locus of control. And what he means is viewing the responsibility or the ability to change something as in your hands. There were several years ago, I say several, I mean back when you could still buy, a dumb phone from Verizon. I had a new iPhone, was keeping my calendar, and I was getting all sorts of messages and text messages and calendar alerts and all these things as a new and young pastor, and I was getting anxious. And my anxiety would just increase. My heart rate would increase every time the phone would vibrate. And the locus of control, in his terms here, I saw it as outside of me. I saw it as with the phone or with other people or with meetings. And so finally, I decided I was going to take ownership and take control. I surrendered the smartphone for the dumb phone, went backwards. People thought I was crazy, but I did. I did something. I had to do something to change the situation. And I experienced so much freedom and actually increased productivity, believe it or not, because I went analog. I started keeping track of my calendar and my day with a journal. I had to do something to take control of the situation where I was out of control. Seemingly, just to kind of quote from the book here, he talks about, do you see yourself as in the driver's seat or along for the ride? Well, until I made that change, I was just along for the ride. Now, eventually, I went back to the smartphone, and I'm back to it. But now I have a bit of a hybrid way of how I manage my time, manage my calendar. Here's a principle that I use and have taken from Michael Hyatt. And he recommends having 3 things that you prioritize for that day. What are your big 3 things? And so what that does for me is that helps me to live out this principle of taking ownership and responsibility. So many of us can live in a very reactive type way, especially when it relates to maybe work or responsibilities at home. I'll get to that when it becomes a problem or when the problem gets brought to me, rather than taking ownership and responsibility to make it better or to simply strive for something and take control of it. Rather than waiting for something to break, you take control of the maintenance of it. And you can apply this to not just, things around you or work or productivity. Think about it as it relates to relationships. He makes this principle apply to relationships, how, we need to ask ourselves and take ownership of relationships that we're in and ask ourselves, what have I done to maybe bring this to a conflict point? What have I done, to contribute to the problem? And so maybe you're at a place where you have a relationship that you need to work on and fix. You need to ask yourself, is there anything in my attitude, my actions, that have contributed to this problem? And then you need to go apologize. That's a novel idea. You need to go and apologize. You need to go confront maybe. Go with an agenda, he recommends, of only listening and trying to understand how the other person maybe has been hurt. And then get feedback from other people of ways you can change. Find out what you can do, to take ownership of the situation. And rather than just simply seeing it as, well, it's out of my control, they're going to do what they're going to do, which is true. It takes two to tango. That's true, right? There needs to be a reciprocal aspect of the relationship, whether that's a professional or a personal one or an intimate one like in marriage. But you can take control of the situation and do something to make a positive change in that relationship, make a positive course correction for a new trajectory in that relationship, whether it's professional or personal, rather than just sitting back and saying, well, I'm just in the passenger seat, I'm along for the ride. And so my question for you, drawing to the end of this episode, is asking you, what can you do today with a personal and a professional, maybe a relationship in particular? What's a personal relationship that you have? What's a professional relationship you have that's maybe frayed? There's a problem, right? And maybe up until now you've been looking at the problem one-sided as to what they've been doing wrong, what they need to change. Let me ask you to do something. Experience the freedom of taking ownership and responsibility. Live out those two words, ownership and responsibility. Go have a conversation, be open-minded, ask yourself, how have I been contributing to this problem that we have as a professional or personal relationship? And then start building from there. Go and actually do something. Who's that person you need to talk to today? Don't wait. Write their name down right now. Maybe you need to stop. Send them a text message, say, hey, we need to have a conversation. But take action and do something today. Hey, thanks so much for listening. Hope these episodes have been helpful for you. And just know this, your chapel team is here for you to help you build your spiritual readiness. We're here for you anytime. So you can call our office at 716-236-2096. You can also email me, matthew.bryant.7@us.af.mil. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks so much for tuning in today. Can't wait to have you back next time. Now go and take action today. Do something to improve your spiritual readiness. Something you can do right now is go ahead and click subscribe so that you're sure to catch the latest episodes of the Spiritual Readiness Refuel. And would you go ahead and actually do me a huge favor and leave us an honest review? It'll help us get better, and it'll also help us get the word out to others so that we can help others and continue to help you hone the mind and live resilience so we can win in tomorrow's fight, whenever, wherever.